Hey everybody, this is Steven, formerly known as the Dungeon Gardener. I decided to change my YouTube channel name. Originally, my channel was just solely about fitness and has really become more about outdoors, uh, gardening, fruit trees, just being outside. And so I'm now calling my channel, renaming it Yard King. So please consider like, commenting, and subscribing to my channel. I want to give you a little bit of update of the progress of everything that's happened in my yard. This right here is my cherry, Valadela cherry tree that I bought from Rain Tree. This is the third season. Maybe it's the creeping up on the fourth. No, I think it's the third season. And so we got cherries off this tree the second year, 18 cherries. And now I don't know how many cherries I'm gonna get. See, last year I didn't get any cherries. I only got like 2 blossoms. But this year I've counted over, it's over 200. And there's still some other blossoms that haven't opened up yet. So, and I know it's kind of a cold day today, but I have seen the bees at work. The bees have been doing their thing and pollinate these, and I came around with a little brush to try to hand pollinate some stuff. But it seems like they like to develop in this little junction here. So I'm supposing next year they'll be forming out here, but that seems to be where they want. So and it makes me feel like the blooms that I'll be developing are actually 2 years away, because last year I didn't get a lot of them, but I had made cuts right here, and then I didn't get any last year. So I made cuts in the wintertime right there. They came back and I got no flowers, and then these grew in the summertime. And then this year I get all these blooms right there. So theoretically I'll have blooms here next year as those things form. And there's still some that are forming and trying to come out. Let's see. Not sure if you can see right here. Let's see. See right there, they're still about to come out. So it's really cool. And I talked about this tree. It's a blessing and a curse. This tree is attacked maliciously against June bugs above all the trees, even above my or my neighbor's rose bushes. I mean, and my plums. They'll just ignore everything. The peach tree, and they just want this over anything else. And that's a blessing and a curse, because what it has become is this ends up being an absolutely beautiful tree. I will hopefully get my cherries from it, and I'll be able to harvest the cherries just before, like somewhere between the beginning of June to mid-June, and then the June bugs will start coming out and they'll start attacking this tree, which is very, very sad. But they'll come out and attack it, and at that point this tree will have given me my fruit, and then it will become a trap crop. So the other trees will be spared. So over here, I've debated cutting this apple tree down. I've only had a couple fruits off. I had like 30 something fruits off it last year, but I never sprayed anything on there. I wanted to be organic, but sure enough, most of the stuff kind of rotted, and I only got like 3 or 4 good fruits, and they weren't the best tasting apples. But I think this is actually a pretty young tree, and the soil is not that great. This part of my yard right here is actually hard clay, so it may just but here we go. Not sure if you can see, we got some flowers coming out, and hopefully we'll get some fruit, Maybe I'll try to cover some, maybe I'll spray it, and maybe that'll be the trick for me to get a better harvest off this year. And you know, I've heard many times if you have young trees, you don't actually get the best fruit quality for a while. So they were small apples and they were just kind of not real sweet. They didn't have high brick content. But I don't, really know what I can do because it's in a good location of where it is, but the soil is just hard clay. And I just don't have high expectations. So here's the Santa Rosa. It had a few flowers, not too many. The one over there is also Santa Rosa. I planted that in my neighbor's yard. It had a few flowers, but not too many. This one had a good bit of flowers on this side. And one of my next projects is I want to thin these branches, choose a branch, and I want to bend these down. So they say that it's best to have like a 45-degree angle. So I've got some stakes, so I'm going to stake those and kind of to get the direction I want. And the reason you want to do that is A, it can hold a lot of fruit. You want to keep the open center. It's kind of like that peach tree right there. I worked really hard on getting that shape down. So this year I'm going to have to prune it to try to get this open center. It's already too tall because it's splitting right here. It would have been a lot better if it was down here and done that, because now I'm going to have to probably get a ladder to get these fruit. So I've already messed up in that sense, but you can see down here the remainder of this fruit. This is a ruby sweet. It's supposed to have some, red flesh and red skin, and it is not so fertile, but it blooms with Santa Rosa and with the Toca Plum right here. So I did see some bees on it, but we'll find out as these two trees become more productive. Hopefully I'll get a good harvest out of these. I am a little disappointed at how early they blossom, because when this one, the Santa Rosa, and this little guy was blooming, it was still cold and the bees were not out. I'm not sure if that's going to be an every year thing, but obviously I saw the bees at work on my cherry tree pretty vigorously. They're working hard. So we'll see. I will say this little Toca Plum, I mean, you can see the remnants. I wish I'd taken a picture of it. It was every inch of this tree had blooms. These beautiful white flowers cover the entire tree. Very, very thick. It had tons of pollen on it. And that's why a lot of people get this one. It's called the Toca Plum. Some people call it bubblegum plum. And it is known to taste like bubblegum. We'll see. Never had one. Probably won't get another taste for 3 or 4 years. But it is supposed to be one of the best pollinators out there. So the peach tree, obviously it was loaded down. Loaded down with a whole bunch of flowers. But again, it did bloom early. I did not hand pollinate this. I'm a little disappointed that I wasn't able to find the time to do that. But we'll see if we get any fruit. Suspect we probably will get at least a little bit, but it had tons of flowers and is now growing leaves. This one, for a second year tree, it had a bit of amount of flowers. I don't know if it's actually going to grow anything, but if it did, it would probably cull the fruit anyhow. So you can see a little bit remaining of the remaining buds. We'll see if those actually, I don't know, I think they might actually be fertilized, because you see how this one right here, this one right here is yellow. Let me see. Oh, see, it just fell off. Never mind, I pointed at it and I touched it and it fell off. But these stems right here, they're green. That means it's not dying. So I suspect I may get some here. There's some more. Let's see, here's an example. This one right here. Let's see. That's yellow. That's trying to be falling off. But I can't really tell with those ones. So this is a green gauge I got from Home Depot. And the reason I planted this one here is it may have been a mistake. I hope it's not. But see, this tree right there is a semi-dwarf. All of those are semi-dwarfs. Those are semi-dwarfs. This is a full-on dwarf. So this is going to be way smaller than the other ones. So what I plan on doing is control the pruning myself so that the limbs don't come out this way to the driveway. And I'll have to do some more pruning this year to shape it how I like. But that way I can control where it is. And to be frank, at the time, that property over there, because see there's a property line, that wasn't mine. Now it is. We bought it. We got the deed now. Praise God. It's ours. They were going to build a house there, but we made an offer on the land and they took us up on it. So I probably would have picked a different location for this tree. And maybe it's not too young to transplant, but I'm not going to. This is actually really nice dark soil, just like the peach tree, just like the Toca. Past there, it gets a little iffy. These are my 2 European plums. And I was hoping that these plums, these 2 European plums, would also pollinate that green gauge, because green gauge is supposed to be European. But that green gauge, it's either not a green gauge, like they said, you know, or I don't know. It's just, it's coming out and blooming at the same times that the European plums are. So I think maybe potentially Home Depot sent me the wrong plant and just labeled it green gauge. I'm not sure, because here this is from Rain Tree and that one's from Rain Tree, and these things are just now, and it's just before April. These things are just now starting to develop something. So look at that. Look at that little flower. Look at that little flower. If you notice, this is not self-pollinating. Let's see if I can get it in focus. See, if it's self-pollinating, it's going to have all these yellow ones, and then it'll have like one little white one in there. And the white one will be the male. I don't know. Maybe that one actually does kind of look like it potentially could be self-pollinating. I'm not sure. I'll have to look into it. But it's starting to grow some other vegetation as well. This is supposed to be a really good tasting fruit. Everybody says they have it. It says it bears good amount every year, and it's real tasty, but it's also subjected to some fungal stuff. So this one will definitely have to be sprayed. This one right here, no flowers on it yet, but you can just see little remnants of vegetation right here. This is a Victorian plum, and this is supposed to be one of the most popular plums there is in England, and it's just a wonderful pink fruit. It's supposed to be good for everything. So, you know, I'm excited to see where these ones go. These are semi-dwarf, and these ones actually have really good soil. It's all nice and dark, rich soil. Vote for Bailey, District 56. Yeah, so this guy right here was my kid's soccer coach. Now he's running for delegate, so I'm supporting him. Right, so I mentioned to you guys on a previous video that I was going to cut that bush down. And my goal was to cut it all the way down where you could run the lawnmower over. However, there is a tree growing inside the bush. The bush itself is fine. That's the bush. This bush was actually bigger than these bushes. So I can cut over that, that's no problem, but this stump right here is in the way, and I just have a little 20 volt, cheapo Hart chainsaw. It just doesn't have the torque that it's supposed to have. So I can't cut through that little bitty stump. So I picked up a sharpener. I'm gonna sharpen it up, but I still don't think it's gonna work. Here is the plants I told you I was going to pick up. That's the one that was covered. I had to pull a lot of dead off of it. It very well may still have more dead to be cut down. That's a big possibility. I hurt my back when it was time to cover it, when it's the coldest part of the year. So we experienced like almost a month of the coldest part of the year. So it's very possible I'll have to cut it all the way back down to the ground. But I'm hoping that some of this will have survived. Right here, it looks like it's completely white and dead, but when I initially cut it, it was kind of greenish. And now it's turned white since I did, but it was just like, completely red tips. And some of this is still that way. And, I'm just trying to see what's going to happen. So that was supposed to be a brown turkey. And it actually produced some pretty good figs last year. But it had grown back from all the way to the ground last year. And because of that, it spent so much time just growing back. So it's going to be a more priority to get this thing covered up sooner in the year. So shame on me for not doing that properly. This one I planted in the ground, and this one will have to be covered up again for sure as well, because this one, it's pointless to even have it here if it dies, because this is a Desert King and it only grows edible figs on last year's wood. So it's going to be paramount that I cover this up. This one I planted in the ground, and it looks like it has no damage at all, because this one right here and this one right here were both in my shed in a pot. And so this is a Celeste fig. So I got that one off of eBay. I got this one off of Stark Brothers. And I mean, they say there's one of the most hardy ones out there, except for like the hardy Chicagos or whatever. So I decided to plant these out here, and then with the intentions to cover them up better than I did last year, instead of over by my house, because this spot gets sun from morning to night. So if I can keep them alive and covered in the wintertime, then I'm gonna have some good figs, every year. And the thicker the wood gets, the better it's going to get, So eventually, if they get too tall, it might be a problem. I find that the tree form is a lot more attractive, but the bush form is going to be a lot easier to cover up. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do about this one right here in the tree form. But this one looks like it's completely unharmed. No problem. Can't wait till it sprouts out. If this one right here, this is a Ichi Hiro Gyro persimmons. I'm pretty sure I butchered that. But I got off of Stark Brothers, and there's nothing. There's absolutely no growth. But that's okay, as long as it grows, but if it doesn't start picking up, when we planted it right when we got it, we did what we were supposed to, So hopefully it'll grow. If not, I'll be calling Stark Brothers to send me another one, and hopefully they don't run out of that one, because the reason I wanted this one was A, it was non-astringent, and B, it doesn't grow real big. You know, I wanted to get to where it doesn't grow crazy tall. So, hey, you know, maybe what I'll do is, if they don't have it, maybe just go with their old classic Fuyu. I've placed, I'm not going to go inside, but this is actually my neighbor's greenhouse that she is actually planning on bringing her plants out here too. But she said to go ahead and put some of my pots in there. And so I got a couple of pots in there that are help weighing it down with some bricks. And it is in fact warmer in there. But I just put it in there yesterday. And you know, and the next day it's kind of cloudy. I think it's going to be cold again tomorrow, and after that it's going to start warming up. So hopefully if we can maybe get a week or two ahead of these start to grow, you know, that'd be good. I put some fertilizer, some fish, you know, emulsion in there, so they should be ready to go as soon as they want to warm up and wake up. They should be good to go. And again, I'm not sure if I need to cut a little bit dead off. I can't really fully tell. I did a few spots that was obvious, and other spots is not so obvious. So yeah, so the one that I did not put in there that I wish I could have is that one right there. That's a black mission, and I wanted it to go in there, but I couldn't take up any more room, and that's because my neighbor's planning on bringing some of her stuff as well, and that just would not be fair for me to take up 100% of the space when it's not even mine. So the black mission is not going to get a quicker start. And almost done here, but I'll go ahead and share this right here. These, I planted these last year. These are blueberries. Let's see. They're not bloomed yet, but you can see they're ready. They're getting ready to. Look at there. So this one is O'Neill. We got the Stark Brothers, and then this one right here is from Stark Brothers, and this is a Pink Lady. It's got some as well. So I've used some organic holly fertilizer that's just a little bit more acid base. And these are two extra ones that I have, and I don't remember what kind they are. And these really need to be planted in the ground. But honestly, I really don't know where to do it at. So it was back-breaking work to put these here, mainly because they had those useless, what do you call them, weed barriers all throughout there, and it was just a bear to get that weed barrier out. And I had to raise it up so I can get some soil in there, and it was a lot of work. See, all of this right here was these giant useless bushes. So hopefully those will take off, and maybe I can find a good spot for those two blueberry bushes down the road. I don't want to shock them, so I don't know. I think I could find a spot in a couple different places I could think of, but all over here I have to deal with a stupid weed barrier that I've never put up myself. Because if you put a weed barrier, you're pretty much saying you just don't want weeds. You're not trying to improve the soil over time. So anyhow, that's what I got so far. Hopefully down there past the cherry tree. I don't know why this thing's... I got some grapevines over there, and hopefully they'll wake up. It's the second year, so I don't know what they're gonna do. They're gonna do anything or nothing. I have no idea. Are they alive? They're dead. I can't tell. So anyhow, that's the update. There's still lots to do. I like to share with you guys the plan. Like, comment, subscribe. I always leave these crazy long videos, and I understand. I'm sorry about that. So, all right. Thank you. Bye.